Hello, 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 Philadelphia. This is Fatima Peters with a live radio show empowering and inspiring you to create great opportunities for your life. We are here every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. on WWDB Talk AM on your 860 Philadelphia dial and also on Spotify and YouTube as well. My guest today is Dr. Banji Awosika, nephrologist who specializes in hypertension, chronic kidney disease with emphasis on preventive care. Welcome, Dr. Awosika.
Thank you.
This is so much fun. We have been planning this. I actually been thinking about this, okay? You have been in this specialty for over 15 years?
I've been a nephrologist for the past 20 years.
20 years. And you encourage a very important mindset in lifestyle. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So with kidney disease, 1 out of 4 patients on dialysis, unfortunately, is dead at the end of the year.
Oh, wow.
So I have a very strong relationship with my patients. So as a nephrologist starting out, I was losing patients.
Oh, wow.
Patients were dying. And the same way I felt when my patient died, my first patient died when I graduated in 1994.
Wow.
It's the same way I felt when my last patient died 5 days ago.
Oh, my goodness.
That whole time, that's 30 years, I feel the same way about my patients. So on dialysis, I just wasn't used to, it was affecting me. So I knew there had to be another way to impact my patients.
Beyond just giving that which they are asking, which is the medicine, the treatment, before that. Exactly. So this gives me the hook to say that you encourage a lifestyle approach that empowers patients to get better sooner and stay healthier longer.
Well said.
This is such an important phrase. When I read that, it's amazing because you wrote a book about it. And I was looking on Amazon, Drop Your Meds, the Ultimate Physician Guide to Getting Off Your Prescription Medication. What was that about? And how did you come to this book?
So I have a very strong passion for discussing with my patients about the way they're thinking, the narrative they have. What are they telling themselves? Is there a ceiling on top of their heads? Yeah. What you say you can do or you say you can't do, you're right.
True.
Henry Ford said that. I can do or I can't do. You
Very
decide
true.
that. So when you say you can't do, you put a ceiling there already. Yeah. When you say you can do, you may not know how to do it yet, but you can do it.
Correct.
It's an attitude.
I love that.
So that was so important for me, for my patients, because they needed to understand that you can get off medications as a marker, objective marker of improvement.
Yeah,
because if you're getting better, you get off medications.
Very true. It's a goal.
Exactly.
It's a goal. Your goal is to get healthy.
Absolutely.
And what involves?
So it's interesting because when I tell my colleagues about it, my colleagues, some of them are very, very aggressive about it. They get on board. Other colleagues are like, it's not that deep. Just give them some medications. It's okay. There are many other things to do. And the truth is, they're right. We have many things to do as physicians. But the truth is, when you want to get an end goal, when you want to get a result, you have to be intentional about it.
Yeah.
My result that I'm looking for, that I want to have, is for my patients to be well.
Yeah.
Well, healthy, going forward. Not well, healthy until the medications run out.
Very true.
Well, healthy, going forward.
And you want them to be sustainable with their lives, to be responsible too, to know that when they put something in their body, that is going to have an effect.
Absolutely.
Being that if they are medicine, okay, if they are food, that too, what type of food are you putting in your body?
Excellent. And the whole idea is making food become your medicine.
Yeah, but isn't that since the beginning of time,
Absolutely.
that food has been our complete and sustainability and good food? Why do we need to make food? We prepare food, but making food, that means, food on a can. That is not making food.
As opposed to the natural occurrence of
or life. Eating, it's why, complicate things.
Absolutely.
Eat live, like get a tomato. I'll make you, just juiced up right now. Think about a tomato, red, amazing, delicious, right?
Yes.
Doesn't that make you hungry?
I always say plant-based lifestyle has much more color.
Yes, very
than
true.
The animal-based lifestyle.
I think someone actually wrote a book that says which color is your plate, and they did not mean the color of the plate itself.
The color of the food on the plate.
What? The food on the plate, right? So tell us about optimum nutrition, exercise, sleep, mindset, loving relationships.
Absolutely. So
yes.
I tell my patients that food is either going to be a poison for you or medicine for you. You decide that. You decide whether you're making your food your poison or your medicine. Is your food lifting you up or is it tearing you down? Every time you put food into your mouth, you're making a decision to empower or to tear down some more.
Wow.
And it's something you do every day.
Very true.
3 times a day, sometimes 5 times a day. You eat daily. You have to make a decision, the right decision,
very
more times than the wrong one.
And see, the interesting part, this is so awesome, by the way. Thank you for sharing all this with us.
Thanks for having me.
And I mean, there's so many people that question, I'm not a young kid anymore. And many people ask me, what are you eating? Are you, eating something that is actually making you younger? But it is true, right?
Absolutely.
You and I mean, we don't eat just anything.
Yes.
You eat what is going to give you life.
Absolutely. Anti-aging.
Yes. Well, come on. Isn't the food supposed to be that?
Absolutely.
So food is supposed to make you alive.
It's supposed to. Unfortunately, some foods don't do that.
They don't because they're not alive.
Exactly.
See? If they're not alive, how are you expecting that food to make you alive?
It's interesting. I tell my patients.
Have you thought about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's so interesting because I tell my patients that I want you to have animal proteins once a week.
Delicious.
And then they tell me, once a week, what am I going to eat if I don't eat animal protein?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Doc, I did what you said. I ate no animal protein. I just ate fish every day. I'm like, but fish is an animal. So anything that has an eyeball, had a mother and father at some point, is an animal. And they're not alive anymore. You want to eat food that gives you life.
Yes,
vegetables,
I agree with you.
Fruits.
Oh my God, I'm getting hungry right now.
Right?
Yes. Juicing up.
Fantastic. And
that's the way.
The beautiful thing about it is fiber carries through. Gut health is something that people don't talk about enough. And gut health is key. I mean, how many times should you have a bowel movement?
Very true.
How often should you have a bowel movement? You should have
My mom said about 2 or 3. Is that correct?
So she's close.
Okay.
More specific, it should be 1 bowel movement per meal per day.
Also, if you ate, you got to go.
If you had 3 meals in 24 hours, you should have 3 bowel movements in 24 hours.
I guess I'm on a schedule.
I love it. I love it. So what determines the bowel movement? 3 things. Water, fiber, movement.
Wow.
The body is wired to be moved.
I agree with that.
If you don't move the body, it will fail you.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's why dancing and walking, dancing is so awesome.
You know what's also awesome about dancing, in addition to the fact that it's exercise, is the feel-good hormones that it releases into your system.
Yeah.
I tell people that the body has a pharmacy within it. Yeah? The key to that pharmacy is exercise.
I agree with that, by the way.
Because that pharmacy is always secreting chemicals and hormones into your feel-good hormones into your blood.
Yes.
The key to that pharmacy is exercise.
So that's why people get sick.
Absolutely.
Because they're out of their system. Meaning we were made to walk, to look for food, to walk long distances. And therefore, and nowadays in this modern, age, we don't do anymore.
Concrete jungle, especially.
Yeah, and we drive so much, and we don't move enough. Guess what? We eat, sit, stay seated for so long. Then you don't move. Wow, I never thought about that. But this is kind of, it's so simple.
Absolutely.
It's so idiotic that I feel so bad of saying, but it is true.
It's common sense. But you see, common sense is not always very common in the sense that whatever is happening around people, they go with that flow, herd mentality. Most people are mediocre. Most people are 95% of people are mediocre. To think with everyone else, you're thinking mediocre. To think against the grain, that's when your genius arrives.
That is awesome. I actually agree totally about that because our sense of critic, it's totally non-gun because people look on the TV, accept everything, look around and go, oh yeah,
that's
that person.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, but hey, have you questioned yourself? Why are you eating a dead food? Question that.
Absolutely.
You're alive and you eat dead. What is that going to do for you?
So it's interesting because I was talking to my daughter yesterday and I told her, I love the fact that anything healthy, I love it. But I really wish that anything unhealthy, I hate it. That's what the case. I'm a carnivore. I love my meat and my chicken.
Do you eat meat?
I love meat.
Oh my goodness, Brazilians. We love
de Brazil. Yeah. We were there a couple of weekends ago. And, Jesus.
Delicious, right?
Delicious. But my body asked me afterwards, like, what the heck did you just do? What did you just do to me? Because the truth is, I love my animals, but you see, I love me much more.
I agree with that, Doctor. I don't think I heard that before.
I have to.
This is amazing. I love my animals. Yes, I love meat, but I love myself more.
Much more.
So I have to make sure that I'm giving enough of that for me to satisfy my taste, but not that much that my body says, what the heck is this?
Exactly. You see, I say you have to indulge with wisdom.
You see,
yeah. So if you're going to take the animals or whatever you're going to have that has no fiber in it, because the gut works a particular way. It pinches the food and passes it to the next segment of gut. But when it pinches the food, to pass it forward, there has to be traction.
My mom used to say, your gut does not have teeth. What does that?
That's the white
she used to say that. And I'm like, excellent. What do you mean? She says, you need to chew it well.
That's excellent. Excellent. And to piggyback of what Mom said, without teeth, it can't create the form the food needs to be in to move forward. You need fiber for that. Traction will happen with fiber. So with meat and chicken, anything that's fat, it just slips over it.
Wow.
It doesn't grip it. Slips over it, tries it again. That's why you get constipated with animals.
Wow. And so when we see people that have the belly pushed forward or
central obesity,
that is possibly not passing that much.
So the gut, remember, animals will stay in the gut for as long as 24, 48, 72, 96 hours.
Wow.
Before passing through. And when it passed through, it's definitely one of those situations where you smile when you went in and you smile when it's coming out. You smile when you went in and you're frowning and crying when it's coming out because you're constipated.
And many people have constipation problems.
Absolutely.
So it goes with skin, then hypertension, then this,
Everything boils down to what are we eating. A plant-based lifestyle where you do fruit, vegetables, legumes versus animals.
I got it.
Animals don't just give you calories. They also give you inflammation.
Got it.
Which is the bigger problem. Because from inflammation, when it's chronic, that's where all the diseases that cause death happen. Heart disease, number 1.
Wow.
Cancer is number 2. Strokes, number 3. Three common causes of death.
The 3 most common.
Exactly. Come from animals and not enough plants. Then movement. Movement daily. Exercise shouldn't be every other day. Daily.
So what is the when we eat meat, what are we taking in?
Okay, so with meat, the most important thing is the inflammation that happens as a result of metabolizing fat. Metabolizing fat causes the inflammation cascade to begin. So I tell my patients, eat animals 1 day a week. The amount you take doesn't matter. You take a small piece of meat, you eat a whole cow.
I see.
It's the same inflammation that's going to happen.
I see.
And inflammation will go up and eventually come down.
I got it. We'll come back and talk to Dr. Awosika about the diet. We're going to talk about not a diet in per se, but we're going to talk about what to eat, like bread. Do we eat bread or not? And we'll be right back. Hello, Philadelphia. This is Fatima Peters with the live radio show, empowering and inspiring you to create great opportunities for your life. We are here every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. on WWDB Talk AM on 860 AM Philadelphia Talk Show. And here we are with Dr. Banji Awosika, and we're talking about the great way of eating. So we're talking about meat. I would love to talk about bread.
Starch.
Yes.
Starch. So bread, rice, pasta, potato, yam, yuca, what else? Cornbread.
Yes.
And starches are fantastic. And then the fuel,
Yes.
glucose is the fuel, right?
Yes.
The amount of starch you take in a day should be dependent on how much exercise you're doing tomorrow. So if you don't burn the starch, it turns to what? It turns to fat.
So does it turn in the same day or next day?
Good question. So it would take anywhere from 48 to 72 hours to turn into it. But when you have it stacking up, you can't catch up. So the whole idea is to exercise daily. Burn what you put in yesterday. So it doesn't stack up and turn to fat.
So what is the best way to eat? What would be an ultimate, breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Is that necessary to have 3 meals?
No. I say eat when you're hungry. That's the way our forefathers ate. They're hungry, they went to hunt. I mean, eat when you're hungry. I mean, now that we have freezers and fridges, and
supermarkets in every corner.
Exactly. People overeat.
We even eat at the supermarket.
Yes.
We don't get home. We just, there's a salad bar at the supermarket. Fine, you can do that. But
everything else.
Yes. and then in the corners that we have all the fast foods in every single corner.
Exactly.
So what is the ultimate meal?
So I'll tell you a typical day for me. So in the morning, I would have oatmeal. Oatmeal is the staple. The staple. Because
do you put maple syrup on anything?
So I'll tell you what I do. I use almonds. I use raisins, and I use a lot of fruits, especially blueberries.
You're making me hungry now.
Yes, it's fantastic, delicious.
Yeah, I eat oatmeal too. Nowadays, there's some people talk about gluten-free. Can you talk a little bit about this? Because oat has gluten, right? So in many ways, I have bought gluten-free oat. Is that true, Sujis?
So gluten is something that some people are allergic to. Some people are specifically allergic to, sensitive, and develop allergies to gluten.
Is that because of the size of the molecular because I heard about that.
So it depends. So some people develop, the most important thing that causes your body to become, for your immune system to be hyperactive is inflammation.
Oh, therefore it started before that.
Exactly. So inflammation is always the beginning of any autoimmune disease or any disease where your immune system is hyperactive. Inflammation. From what? From what we're
That
eating.
is such an important thing. So I remember in 2004, I had an allergy, a very high allergy. I was having intestinal cramps and stuff like that. So there was a doctor in Philadelphia, and I did a raw diet. Like no meat whatsoever, just raw vegetables and fruits. You can imagine how great I became. Everything bad in my body disappeared. I became fit. My skin became clear. I became sharp. I was like, my mind was on.
You had a detox though.
It was awesome.
That's a detox.
It was so awesome.
So whenever I go home, I come from Lagos, Nigeria. And whenever I go home, like Brazil, there's tons of assorted meat.
It's like a wonder. It's such a beautiful
amazing
place. Yes.
But when I come back, I have to detox. So for a whole week, at least 5 days to 7 days, fruits, vegetables, and after the third or fourth day, I'll add beans or legumes to it for a whole week and lots of water.
Yeah.
Because that's what you got, the raw diet you got, essentially creates an environment for healing.
For healing.
Because the body it heals itself.
And the body is,
if
right?
you give it time to. So sleep is key.
Yeah.
All the miracles in the body happen during sleep.
Isn't that something?
Not while we're awake.
But see, nowadays, kids are learning not to sleep. They stay on a TV for a long time, then they stay on a cell phone to talk to their friends, and then they go late, and then they have to go to school. I hear that very often.
Absolutely.
By the way.
I had a very interesting podcast a few weeks ago, and I spoke to a pediatrician, and he gave me some facts I didn't know about screen time. How much time kids should be exposed to the screen. Right from below the age of 2, they shouldn't be exposed at all.
Is that
I didn't know that.
Oh my goodness.
So my mind was like, baby? So when you're holding a baby, you should hold the baby facing you while you're watching TV.
It's true.
Not facing the TV while you're watching TV.
Yeah, because the mind learns. The mind picks it up from anything.
It does. And the mind can get hyperstimulated.
Yes, and this is what's happening right now. People don't, they wanted to hold their mind and they can't. Because like we were talking, before our interview, that the mind can be taught. You can learn how to think and make it happen. Yes. You can learn how to live better. Now, inertia. You probably see this in your office. Inertia from food. Like a person becomes so inert because they eat so much fat, so much carbohydrates. So the sugar in the body stops the system.
Absolutely.
And the mind slows down too.
It's interesting. I read that book called Mindset by Carol Dweck. And you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset, which is described just now as a fixed mindset becoming a growth mindset.
That's it.
All this time you think you have a ceiling here. All of a sudden you realize that there's no ceiling.
Yes.
You can learn and do and become anything you want to become.
Anytime, anywhere. With anyone.
A click of with anyone.
There you go. So 3 places that we can actually be, but no one is being because they can't allow that to happen because the mind, which is not reset, is going somewhere you don't want to go.
Exactly. And you have to be able to guide it.
Very true.
Because the truth is, with wellness, with getting your best health, I call it extreme health. Extreme health is a place where your labs are normal, you're not on any medications, there's no suddenlies in life. She was doing good, all of a sudden she had a heart attack. Nothing like that.
No.
Immune system is intact. Viruses come in here and they go back out because this body wouldn't have it.
Yes.
Extreme health. And it can be achieved, but it has to be achieved with consistency. Yeah. Working out daily, eating regularly well, indulging with wisdom, exercising, resting, sleeping, and then mind-body connection.
So that relationship. So my next question is self-love.
Oh, my word.
And you and I have touched a little bit of this subject. Love is everything.
It's everything. And it fixes
everything. Yes.
Everything. I talk about pushing versus pulling.
Yeah.
You can push people to do things.
Yes.
Sure. But you're more effective.
Yes.
Long term when you pull them to do it.
Yes.
When you inspire them to do it, as opposed to forcing them to do it.
Yeah, inviting. And you can even do, I bet, let's, dive in with this. If someone doesn't know how to lose weight, they can invite their body to go with them. So, so invite it instead forcing. Oh, I have done all the diets in the world. I have tried everything. Okay, invite it.
Make it fun.
Yes.
Enjoy it.
And one step at a time, right?
And if possible, increase accountability. You see, when you're accountable,
I
tell nurses in the hospital, when doctors go see patients, go with them. You know why? Because accountability. When a doctor goes to see a patient and there's no one there, they could just minimally examine but when there's a nurse there or anyone else, they're going to do a full talk. There's a different attitude. So accountability brings about more intention.
Yeah. What is serious right now? What is the statistic about death, with those diseases? Is that very critical in nowadays?
So remember I said, for dialysis patients, majority of my patients are on dialysis.
Yeah.
And for dialysis patients, 1 out of 4, unfortunately, is dead at the end of the year.
Oh, wow.
Now, you have 1 out of 9 people on the planet with chronic kidney disease.
Yeah. So what is your advice for parents? Okay, because obviously that adult was a kid once, and I'm sure that you see kids on dialysis too.
Well, I don't really see kids on that, but I see teenagers, older teenagers.
Oh, so okay, good.
But to answer your question though, I tell patients, parents, and patients that the best legacy you can leave your child is not money, it's health.
See, that's amazing. And to teach a kid to eat.
Yes, they will teach what you give them to eat.
Isn't it something? Because parents normally say, oh, my kids won't eat what I offer. Duh!
They will eat it.
Correct, they will. You just have to be an example for them.
And the honest truth is that, at the end of the day, you are responsible for your child. So if your child is overweight and sick, take ownership and change it. But take ownership because no one else is going to fix that for you. No
Yeah.
doctor or nurse or teacher
Yes.
or pastor. No, it's you. The
Sure.
parent.
And how about sugar?
Sugar, like fat, inflames.
Uh-huh.
So I always tell patients that have diabetes that diabetes is like having a pipe and forcing shredded glass into the pipe and then forcing water to that pipe.
Oh,
Okay? So the lining of the pipe will be
goodness
shredded.
gracious.
Oh, it's nice to have a visual. So when you have a visual, it makes you real.
Ouch.
The lining of that pipe will be shredded. It will be a mess.
Mm.
That's what happens in the blood vessels. Sugar should go into the blood vessels and automatically into the cells.
Oh my goodness.
When it stays in the blood vessels, it crystallizes. It becomes crystalline, and it just shreds the lining. When it shreds the lining, it becomes inflamed, and it has to heal. When it heals, it contracts, so you have narrowing of vessels.
Well, that
Heart disease,
comes to everything else.
strokes,
Hypertension.
circulation, eye problems. Everything happens as a result of an inflamed artery.
And the body is so intelligent. As we describe the disease, we can describe health in the same way.
Absolutely.
The same way.
Absolutely. Just reverse it.
Then you reverse it to health. You all won't eat those things. You will get exactly where you're supposed to be in health, right?
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, knowledge is power. When you know better, you do better. Only when you know better, though.
Well,
you do
it's
better.
very true.
When you do better, then you have better. People want to have better without doing different.
They don't want to do the work.
No.
Yeah. So you have a channel that you offer fantastic advice to people. I have been part of it. I watched. So what is your social media? So would you mind tell us?
So Instagram, I do a podcast every Tuesday. And it's Dr. Banji Awosika, at Dr. Banji Awosika.
I guess you need to spell that.
At DrBanjiAwosika.
You got that, right, people? I'll put the link in our podcast as well. Such a pleasure. My goodness.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, such a diamond. We need more of that.
Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. Come here anytime. It would be lovely to talk to you about health and all your other 4 books.
I'd love to.
So thank you, our sponsors. Thank you, our listeners. This is a live radio show every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Peace and love be with you.